Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast, where each episode centers around a crucial aspect of a community's small businesses. These enterprises are not just economic drivers, they are the heart and soul of our neighborhoods, bringing innovation, character, and essential services. In today's episode, we also acknowledge the significant contributions of Black entrepreneurs. Black business owners brings a wealth of diverse perspectives, creativity, and resilience, playing a pivotal role in enriching our business landscape and community's fabric. The unique insights and experiences are instrumental in shaping a more inclusive and dynamic business environment supporting local businesses, particularly those led by Black entrepreneurs. It's the key to maintaining the vibrancy and health of our communities. Today, we have the pleasure of hosting Wayne Chirisa, a visionary in the field of business optimization and efficiency. Wayne is a certified Lean Six Sigma specialist and the founder and CEO of CBS Audio-Visual Rental Services. He is an accomplished author and mentor, featured in multiple books and content platforms globally. With his expertise in optimization business efficiencies, Wayne has significantly contributed to the business landscape, offering turnkey audiovisual services in the Greater Toronto area. CBS AV Rental Services is known for its comprehensive range of products and customer-focused services, simplifying the AV needs for both corporate and personal events. Before we dive into our conversation with Wayne, I want to take a moment to look right into the camera and express my gratitude to each and every one of you tuning in today. Your support not only fuels this podcast but also amplifies the voices and stories of incredible entrepreneurs like Wayne, especially during the Black History Month. It's your curiosity and engagement that help foster a more inclusive and vibrant community of business leaders. Good afternoon, Wayne. Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. Wayne, let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us about your upbringing, how your upbringing influenced your journey into entrepreneurship and the core values that have guided you?
Thank you. So my upbringing is more interesting because my parents were very industrious. So it's just those type of different aspects of what you learn from what you see as a child growing up. And there's a lot to learn from being, persistent, hardworking, and, chasing your dream, basically. So it's just all those valuable things that you learn from, people that inspire you, which usually are your parents.
Who inspired you the most?
I'll say both. To be fair.
Okay. So what your father used to do? Was he used to run a business or something like that?
Yeah, so I started in banking as a bank manager. Then I went into water drilling. So he bought some machinery. He owned a farm. My mother ran the farm, started a restaurant from there. So they diversified their businesses, and all that sort of gave me a broader picture of, what can be possible. Anything is possible as long as you have a dream, and if you want to chase it, you can achieve it.
As you rightly said, anything is possible if you dream it and chase it. What were your thoughts when you thought of starting your own business, right? Chirisa Business Solutions, right? So what were your thoughts before entering into the journey of entrepreneurship?
Well, I started with high interest into going to consultancy. But then I looked at a gap in the market to what do people really need often. And it started as a baby project, and it turned out to, have a lot of avenues other than just entertainment. There's a lot of business activity that's applicable in any industry behind the scenes. So it was something that's feasible. I'm a social person, so meeting new people, engaging, and you meet business people with different talents, which gives you an opportunity to learn as you progress in your own business. So that was quite inspiring, and I said, you know what, this avenue is a good start. And then, of course, now that time has matured, now it's starting to broaden into other avenues.
Okay, before starting the Chirisa Business Solutions, did you are you doing any side hustles or something like that?
No, I had a regular 9 to 5 job,
Okay,
but it's not that I quit because I can't take instructions. It
right.
was the drive to want to lead, the drive to want to chase what's in you, your talent. Everybody has a gift, and if you don't pursue it, you never really get that fulfillment of life. So the idea is, if you have a talent, if you have a gift, and if you're struggling every day, that you feel empty because you're not using it, then you're doing anything for good for yourself. So it's better to always chase what you want to do.
Right. And also when everyone learns from each other, right? Now my question, the next question is on like the lessons you have learned on your early years. So what are the key lessons you from your early years when you started your business do you still apply in your business today?
The major lesson is there's never a one size fits all. Every customer has different expectations. Uh, Listen first. Even though we are all different professions in our own industry, it's always good to understand what your customer is looking for. And once you get to understand what they're looking for, then you can incorporate your knowledge to make the customer understand how that vision can come true for them. So I would say in many ways, uh, if they are to be happy and if you are to deliver your service on a golden platter, is to ensure that it's not all about how you want to deliver your service. Deliver it to the expectation of the customer.
How they want, right?
How they
Yeah,
want
yeah,
it. Exactly.
right. That's a good thing. And also one of the important thing you said is listening. Listening is very, very important so that you
Yes.
can provide them what they want, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Wayne, for sharing those personal insights. It's fascinating to see how early life experiences can shape our enterprising paths and values. Now, moving on to the value of business services, Wayne, why do you believe it's crucial for customers to understand the value of services, especially in AV rental business?
The biggest aspect that customers tend to not see is that their event usually is for their guests. And when planning the AV service for their event, I think it's important that they also understand what we suggest for them so that they understand that if our guests are going to benefit from that event, what components will make their presentation more effective. We have a generic, list of things that people would say, if you have A, B, C, D, you're set to go. Usually that's not the case because usually there's a downside on we wanted a little bit more, but then it's important for customers to work hand in hand with the AV technicians to say, this is what we want. Do you have any suggestions on how to make it impactful, how to make it more effective? And this way, now you get to understand what the AV technician can suggest, and then you benefit a lot more from your event and you actually enjoy it more.
Right. So you're suggesting asking the right questions.
Correct.
So that you can get the more information you get, the more better value you can provide, right?
Exactly.
Now, how our listeners, like small business owners, or else, if we take an example of your business, how do you communicate this value effectively to your clients?
Well, first of all, we try to understand what they're trying to achieve. And then we always aim to provide value-added services, which is good customer care, high valuable equipment, high-end equipment, and all these, behind the scenes components are something that we try to address the customer to say, if you don't have this piece of equipment, this is the challenge you're going to have. If you don't want your event to be a disaster, we can eliminate something based on your budget, but it's going to have an impact on your event. So we try to work around, a comfortable level where we sort of meet the customer's budget. At the same time, we meet the service level that they expect. So it's more like a win-win situation. So that's just how we try to work together with customers. We provide the pros and cons.
Right.
So no one loses and no one is disgruntled. Everybody's happy.
Right. There might be situations when, like, when you are communicating clearly with your client, like you're suggesting them, like, this is very important, you need to have, but the client says, no, I don't want to move with that. Then what you do in this situation where, like customer is expecting a good service as well as he's not ready to spend?
The best we could do is to inform them on what the result would look like. And if the customer is happy with that type of result, then we go ahead and provide what the customer wants. We don't try to oversell and we don't undersell either. It's more of, if this is what you expect for your event, this is what we'll deliver. If this is the type of golden standard that you expect, then we can put suggestions on the table to say, this is the options we have to get the golden standard. What do you think? And if they appreciate it but can't afford it at that moment, we always keep it at the side discussion for future events when they are ready to engage in those type of additional services.
Right. So you suggest, like, having a clear communication before delivering the service is very, very important, right?
Very, very crucial.
Yeah.
Yes.
When your perspective on the importance of customer understanding in business value is enlightening, like it underscores the need of a clear communication and value proposition. Now let's discuss the challenges in business market. Every entrepreneur faces challenges. Wayne, could you share some of the challenges you have encountered in the business market and how you navigated through them?
In the entertainment industry, or basically in the audiovisual industry, the challenge is that it's a service that's being accessed by a lot of people. It's an industry where there's a lot of competition, from DJs, event planners, and other people that are also doing it as a weekend additional side hustle. So the way we navigate that is by offering high professional services and additional services that fit into the AV industry that no one else is providing, or maybe a small percentage of the AV people are providing. And that sort of eases our challenge with competition and price matching and all those things. But, it's a big market. No one can cover the entire market. So we work with competitors that come and book from us to service their events. So we don't, sideline anyone. But yeah, so we try to provide unique services to sort of navigate through the challenge.
Thanks. And like being a Black entrepreneur is a big challenge in itself, right? Like, could
Right.
you share how being a Black entrepreneur has influenced your approach to these challenges just now you have mentioned?
The way I look at it is, don't be absent from the decision-making table. As an immigrant, it's easy to leave it to other nationalities that have been in the industry for long to be in the game. So I would say for people of color is, if you have a passion, do it despite the competition around you if they don't look like you. Do it to the best of your abilities, and that will make you shine, because people will select people that are good at what they do and that are genuine about their intent. So I would say that's the advice I would give. Go for it, offer the golden standard, and do it, to the best of your abilities. Don't judge yourself based on who your competitor is from and the color of your skin. Do it right, and you'll find yourself progressing.
Right. Being a Black entrepreneur, like as I said, it's a big challenge. Like, I just wanted to know, like, I want you to share some personal experience with me and with my audience. Like, if you have faced any challenge for being a Black entrepreneur, like how did you what steps you took, to differentiate yourself, with other service providers in this industry and get the order? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, to get that order. Yeah.
It's a challenging question. People usually don't come outright to tell you why they have rejected your offer, even though consciously it's something that you can't avoid thinking of to say, did I not get the offer because of the color of my skin? And there are certain venues where you definitely know you will never see someone of your color providing that service, but you see other people going in and providing the service. And then you say, so why wasn't I offered the same? But it's something that I always try until today to approach and say, we can offer a better service. If you're not receptive of it, the idea is not to fight to be accepted. That becomes on a social level, a different issue. The idea is if you're going to remain competitive, it's by default becomes difficult for anyone that could be racist to avoid working with you because now they have a service that they need and you do it better than others that they rely on. So I would say I've never been in confrontation with anyone because of a racial barrier. It's always good to be open to work with people that may not be willing to work with you. And that's the easiest way. I find it better to work with people. It's be open-minded and embrace customers when they get your service, and don't look back to say you gave me a cold shoulder before because I'm Black.
Right.
It's good to talk to you again. I guess to offer you the service. And yeah.
This is what I have experienced 3 years back when I met you for the first time, right?
Yes.
So listeners, like Wayne provide us the AV services since last 3 years. We host 3 big events in a year, and Wayne is the guy who provide us the services. As we transition from discussing the hurdles to the mindset needed for overcoming them, I want to pause and acknowledge the resilience and tenacity of Black entrepreneurs in our communities. It is essential to recognize that the challenges they face are not just business related but often intertwined with systematic barriers. This Black History Month, let's commit to not only celebrating their achievements but also to actively supporting and uplifting Black owned businesses. Thank you for tuning into the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. We are going to take a quick break to catch our breath. Stay with us, and we will be right back with more insights and stories from the heart of small business.
You dreamt big. You made the leap. You and your "we're not stopping at small" business. Doesn't matter you've never done it before. You unlock those problems. You adapt to change. You learn to evolve. You're pioneers in challenging times, finding your own frontiers. Wherever you e-commerce, UPS is with you. So nothing is going to hold you back.
Nope.
Constant Contact delivers the marketing tools your small business needs to keep up, excel, and grow. Constant Contact, helping the small stand tall.
Welcome back to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. We hope you're as excited as we are to dive back into today's topic. Let's continue our journey into the inspiring world of small businesses, full of innovation and passion. Now, let's discuss cultivating a business mindset. A strong mindset is key to success, right? What mindset do you think aspiring business leaders should cultivate for the journey?
I would say leadership mindset. A business needs a good leader. Now, leadership is it's an umbrella term. You have to understand every basic level underneath that term. from what does customer service mean. If you understand that part, whoever you employ, you are now able to transfer those values on how they should embrace your customers. Because if you are not keen to learn and embrace those things, whoever you employ under you or to bring under your umbrella, they're going to chase away your customers. They're going to have a bad work ethic. They're not going to do their work to the best of the quality. So I'd say being a good leader, understand all the small activities underneath, how you handle your finances, how you handle and value your own business, how keen you are to drive better results, be result driven, excel for more, never be content. When you get big, aspire to be bigger, broaden as you go. And those are part of what makes leaders. Leaders are not to make things stagnant. Right. Leadership is about being progressive. And I would say that's the key advice I would give to anyone that aspires to be an entrepreneur. First, be a leader and know how to be a leader. Then everything else will just follow in line based on that.
All right. That's a very good explanation on this and the mindset that you have shared with us. Like, can you provide an example like how this leadership mindset has helped you in your own business?
Oh, definitely. So in the inception of the business, it was challenging to try to think of the business to be a bigger business beyond what it was then. And having to think of how many customers you can engage per given day. It looks like it's far-reached, but when I embrace this mindset of being a leader, I say to myself, you know what? If I were to hire someone, would they want to work for me if they know that they themselves cannot progress within a company because it's going to remain a flat structure and there's no room for them to grow? They can't learn anything because Wayne knows everything and he's content with that. I just have to do one thing. So being in a 9-to-5 job as well before starting the business, it was something that I also looked at. Opportunities to grow within the company. Who did I rely on? The leader. Create opportunities. So it's all in that way I took those values, implemented in my own life and business, and I said, it is my sole responsibility to make sure that I keep expanding, get bigger customers, and slowly grow the business, not overnight, but in due course, we'll get to that level where leadership and applying those values and concepts will help, everything to just grow towards the vision.
Right. Thank you, Wayne, for emphasizing the importance of, leadership mindset in business success. Your advice will inspire many of our aspiring entrepreneurs and listeners. Wayne, with your expertise in business optimization, what strategies would you recommend as essential for a business success?
Well, business optimization is another. There's different business tools. So for anyone that did Six Sigma or any lean process, which is getting rid of inefficiencies or what they call waste.
And by the way, you are Six Sigma certified, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where, as a leader or as a business person, you need to identify tools that work within your particular industry, identify challenges that your customers face or that are costly to your company and affecting your bottom line, and implement tools to improve that type of things and try to increase your efficiencies. I won't tell them what tools to use because we're all in different
industries, right?
Industries, yeah. But I would say it's key to identify tools that will help your business be more efficient.
As you have talked about business leadership, as you talk about how to manage employees and motivate them, do you have any suggestions on business books, right? Like what we like me and like our listeners should be reading, like any suggestions of a good business book?
Uh, there's so many.
Which one
I was-
do you read?
I don't really have a particular one. I have a ton of books,
Okay.
but reading is good. There's no bad advice, and unless you buy a book that's fresh off the chart from someone. But I'll say any book that guides you in the right direction is good knowledge. It's good to have, better than not even reading. So if you're in the hospitality industry, or if you are into, accounting, you buy books that will help you grow within your professional industry. And reading is key to give you the knowledge that you probably didn't even think of, and you broaden your mindset to possibilities. So I'd say read on what will benefit you.
Right.
But for me, reading, I have a ton of books. I have a whole bookshelf, which is why it's difficult for me to pinpoint one.
Share some titles with us, we will definitely add those titles in our description in the podcast. Your insights into business optimization are indeed enlightening, Wayne. It's clear that strategic thinking and efficiency are paramount for business growth. As we look to the future, Wayne, how do you see the audiovisual rental service industry evolving, and what are your plans for adapting to these changes?
The change is exciting. We're going to have a lot of, I wouldn't say challenge, but I would say opportunity of the digitized industry that's with AI, and it's going to make life much easier. But I would say we're trying to embrace that change that's happening in the industry. And we're trying to work with different venues to make sure that if they're having any in-house facilities, we will be able to meet that request. So slowly we're starting to buy equipment that work with AI softwares, and learning and getting educated on how it works. And that's going to change the whole game in the rental business to, can someone request a software service that they can work from their residence without having to travel, without you having to travel to them. So there's a lot changing, and we're definitely, we'll be excited to let everybody know once we're at that level.
Okay, now let's discuss about CBS AV rental services. What plans do you have for the future? To grow the CBS AV rental services.
So we're moving to applying for a permit to have a conference center. Right now, the contract is for about 200 guests, but it's only at the beginning. But of course, with time, it will be.
You have to
more.
begin, right?
You have to begin. You have to start somewhere.
Right.
So that's the growth of the business, and we're gonna grow bigger. And if there are any others businesses offering the same service but have a unique way of providing their service, hopefully at that time we'll be able to acquire them to make us part of the CBS AV services, and this way we can service a broader market.
We at Canadian SME team, we wish you all the best for your future plans when it comes to your business growth.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And before we wrap up, when as everyone knows, we are in the midst of celebrating the Black History Month. Can you share some thoughts on this Black History Month celebrations with our audience?
I'd say it's worth celebrating. It's good to have a sense of history, especially for the new generation. There's a lot of distractions that with media and all these things that can distract modern generation, and then they focus less on history. So I'd say there's the way to benefit from these lessons that, our media now is listen, learn about different cultures, what they went through, and embrace them. We don't idolize it, but it's a learning journey, within that short time. And, it's good to always value where you come from and to not take anything for granted. So I'd say whoever the opportunity to learn about Black History Month, this is the time. Learn as much as you can,
Right.
and hopefully there's some values that you can take with you.
Yeah, the whole month, the edition of Canadian SME Small Business Magazine for the month of February, the whole magazine is covered with different Black entrepreneurs. We have placed stories from Black women entrepreneurs. So we are celebrating the way we can from our publication side. Now, Wayne, a final question to you for our audience, what is your key piece of advice, especially for Black entrepreneurs, who want to start their own business here in Canada?
I would say, first of all, align the finance side. Canada is a very good market to start a business. The major challenge with entrepreneurs is usually finances. So I would say, first, do your research on the margins, overhead costs, and the capital, and manage it very well. Whether you're going to separate out your accounts, it means register a business, of course. No one wants to break the law. Register a business, but I would say make sure that when you start your business, invest in it wholeheartedly. Put as much time as you can in it. Don't take it for granted, because it can turn from just a hobby to a business that can actually take care of your entire family.
Right.
So the advice I would say is go for your dream, develop it professionally, and, never give up on it.
Right.
For most entrepreneurs, they give up halfway through the journey and they want to go back to a job they don't like. If it's your talent, it's better to grow and employ to get help so you don't feel burnt out,
Right.
which is the number one reason for why people have migraine headaches, psychological issues. People are burnt out.
Yeah.
So I'd say strategize properly and get as much help as you can, but don't give up on your dreams.
Right. Consistency is the key, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I see the government of Canada as well as many different organizations, they have came out with their own support for Black entrepreneurs. So a lot of support is available in the market, like for starting the business, for getting the financial support, for different resources are available. Thank you so much, Wayne, for sharing your valuable advice with our listeners, especially for Black entrepreneurs. It was a great pleasure hosting you today at the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. As we wrap up today's insightful conversation with Wayne, I want to look directly at you, our valued listeners, and extend a heartfelt invitation to join us in making a tangible impact. Support local and Black-owned businesses, engage with their stories, and share their work with your network. It's through these actions that we can collectively contribute to a more diverse and inclusive business ecosystem. Remember, every bit of support counts in building a community where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. A special thanks to our partners: exclusive banking partner RBC, exclusive shipping partner UPS, exclusive accounting software partner Xero, and our exclusive email partner Constant Contact for the support in bringing these important conversations to our audience. We encourage our listeners to subscribe to Canadian SME Small Business Magazine at canadiansme.ca for more such inspiring and informative episodes. Remember, the key to thriving in business lies in understanding its values, embracing challenges as opportunities, and continuously optimizing to stay ahead. Until next time, keep supporting your local small businesses and nurturing your entrepreneurial spirit.